Welcome to Electric Evolution with Liz Allan. This podcast explores the transition to net zero and the systems driving real change in how we move, live and power our world. Every week I sit down with the people leading that change, those offering insight, innovation and impact in many ways people don't fully see until they hear their stories. If you're ready for real conversations that inspire action and drive change, please like this video, subscribe to the channel and join us on this journey. And let's cut through the noise and build a better future together. Okay, so on today's episode, I have with me Ben Thorp from Ratio EV, and he's an EV charging specialist. We've been talking for a little while, Ben, haven't we? And we were introduced through Heather Kennedy, who is wonderful, and she's already been on the podcast. So thank you ever so much for joining me, and thanks to Heather for introducing you.
No, thank you. Thanks for having me.
So, Ratio EV. Let's talk about that in a second, and what you do, because we've just been having a chat, and I've been learning all sorts, and I was doing a bit of a search and looking through, various LinkedIn stuff, and it's really interesting. So you personally are based up in Chester, aren't you? And you said you've been born and bred in Chester, moved away for a bit and then came back. But let's talk a little bit about what you've done and how you kind of got to be the EV specialist at Ratio.
No, of course. So a bit about me. I was born and raised in Chester. Went travelling for a little bit and spent about 3.5 to 4 years living over in Australia. And that was kind of the first time I got introduced to the renewable world, let's call it. So I was working for a startup over there. It was a solar and battery system provider. They were working commercially and domestically. Always wanted to get into the EV. When I was younger, my old man was a mechanic, so I had interest in cars. More petrol, diesel cars back in the day there. But
as you do.
Yeah, obviously. But then when I came back to the UK, the opportunity to join Ratio came around. And Ratio, at the time, were new to the UK as well. So I could put a few of the experiences I learned over in Australia with a new startup over there into action over here. And I've been at Ratio now coming up to 2.5 years, I believe. So it's gone fast.
Time flies when you're having fun.
It does. It goes too quick sometimes.
It does. I know. I can't believe how far we are in this year already. So let's talk a little bit then about what brought you to Ratio itself then? What kind of attracted you to the business? We can talk about that and then talk about what Ratio actually does and what it produce.
So when I came back to that, I was looking for new opportunities, something that I could really grasp with two hands, I suppose. I love the idea of working with a startup over in Australia, so I had the same kind of thing I was looking for here. I just wanted something that I could grow personally, professionally, but also to make a real impact within the renewable sector. So for me, that was the only industry I was looking into. But the main things that I suppose that attracted me to Ratio was they're part of a wider group. So they're part of a group called the FW Thorp Group. And FW Thorp have got a group of companies that are kind of in the lighting, emergency lighting sectors, but they've got a global footprint. But they really focus with their sustainability and circularity at heart. And that for me was huge. When I sat down with the guys at Ratio, I was like, this is what I want. This is where I feel like it could go. So let's see what we can do.
So Ratio manufacture 7 and 20, is it 22 kilowatt chargers? But we're talking destination charging, aren't we here?
Yeah, Ratio, well, we manufacture the full range of charge points, but it's all AC charging. So what that means is we've got a range of home charging, we've got a range of wall-mounted commercial charge points, and we've got a range of freestanding commercial charging. And that commercial charging or destination charging, as you mentioned, that's our sweet spot. That's what we're really good at. That's where we've got a USP, let's call it.
And that kind of that makes a difference, doesn't it? When you are specifically, channeling into that area for you as a business. So, who are you currently working with? We've kind of, me and you have chatted about this, but if you just want to explain about who your customers are and what are the predominant sectors that you're kind of selling into.
Yeah, so our main customer base is we deal direct with our installer network, with our CPOs, with our charge point operators that like, prefer and enjoy using our hardware. But we also deal a little bit as well with specialist EV wholesalers, let's call them. And the reason we deal with bit of wholesale but mainly installers is just because we prefer to build partnerships. We want to deal direct with them so we can offer that support if it's required. But also, on the other hand, if something does go wrong, then we want to be able to rectify it as soon as possible. And if you're going through multiple channels to do that, it could not only damage our reputation as Ratio, but it looks bad on the installers or CPOs as well, because they don't know who to talk to.
No, and that's yeah, that's difficult, isn't it? So how do you choose those installers? You know, how does it work? Are you kind of are you kind of tending to work with a group of installers that you've been working with for a while?
Yes and no. So we're always open to developing new partnerships or bringing on new installers to our approved installer network. It's just building trust, building a partnership. We only want to work with installers or charge point operators that want to work with us, and vice versa. In the domestic game, it's probably fair to say it's a little bit of a rat race. There's a lot of, I won't tarnish any energy retailers, but there's a lot of energy retailers that are throwing charge points on houses for pennies, and a lot of installers or even CPOs can't compete financially with that.
Yeah.
But on the commercial side of it, you work with people that really care about what they do, and as long as our installers are proud of the work and really want to make a difference, then yeah, crack on. We'd love to have conversations with you.
I think the fact there's one word that you've just come up with there, and that was trusted.
Yeah.
The fact that you're talking about a trusted installer network,
Yeah.
or trusted partnerships, building that trust is so important, isn't it?
It's huge. We live in a world now where everything's posted on social media. There's news articles every day about how bad EVs are and why you shouldn't have them. And the last thing we need or installers need is a poor install or something not to go to plan, because it'll just get shouted about, shared, and it doesn't only damage our reputation or the installer's reputation. It just damages the, how would you phrase it? It damages the kind of perception on EVs and EV charging infrastructure out there at the moment, which is not good for anyone.
No, exactly. All you need is, it's a bit like domino toppling, isn't it? You kind of need one or two, and then you kind of it starts, and then the news kind of goes, oh look, that one, like you say, tarnishes the rest. So I think you're doing the right thing. It's very wise of you to actually do it this way and make sure that you're working with kind of trusted installers. I mean, you're an EV driver yourself, aren't you?
Yeah.
How long have you been driving an EV since you started at Ratio, or did you start?
Well, when I first started at Ratio, I was driving a self-charging hybrid.
Right.
We
Okay.
think of that what we
We'll
want.
let you off.
But yeah, I moved to EV probably a year and a half to 2 years ago now.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I've got a driveway at home, so I can take advantage of the cheap overnight tariffs that a few retailers give. But I found the experience seamless, and it's probably fair for me to say that I reckon I spend less time charging or filling up my car than petrol or diesel drivers do. I never have to go out of my way, stop for 5 minutes, get out the car, plug a fuel nozzle into my car, wait for it to fill up, walk in, pay, get back in my car. I can charge wherever I am. It takes me 5 seconds to get out my car, plug my car in, then off I go. I can go do what I need to do.
You've got to tell me what are you driving then?
I'm driving a BYD Seal.
See, exactly. And that means that if you are out and about and you do need to use public charging, then you have to use a regular, you're not using like the Tesla supercharger network, you're using regular kind of public charging anyway, aren't you?
Exactly, yeah. And look, I cover a fairly large chunk of the UK. I'm up in Scotland with Heather actually on Wednesday. I'm not going to get from Chester to Glasgow. It is back to Chester without the need for charging a public or a DC supercharger. So I still do use that infrastructure as well, but I only stay at hotels that have got a AC charge point because when I get there, I'll plug in. Might be late. I want to go straight to bed. I don't have to worry about sitting in my car waiting for it to charge to then move it so another visitor or individual that's staying at the hotel can charge their vehicle up.
It's funny because we were talking about this before we started recording, didn't we? But I was down in Glastonbury this weekend, and no, this wasn't for you watching and listening. This wasn't the weekend of the festival. I wasn't down for that reason, but and I was on my own, and literally there were two chargers near me, and they were both DC chargers. So, but they were rapid, so they were 50 kilowatt chargers. So I wasn't staying in Glastonbury, I was staying somewhere nearby. And I kind of said to you, didn't I? One was at a hotel and it was sandwiched in the middle. It was bizarre. It was sandwiched in the middle of a car park with just one space and one charger. And I think it was quite an old one, so it's quite an old legacy one. Then there was another one that was at a pub just kind of not very far down the road, and I had to pay for parking and I had to pay for charging, but there was no destination charges. It was either the two rapids or nothing really.
Yeah.
Where I was staying. The one good thing was I could go for a meal. I had my food, got back to the car, and it was charged. You know, it was charged enough for me to get back to Reading, so that was fine. But it would have been good and I was staying at like a pub with room, accommodation.
Yeah.
It would have been good if they'd have had some kind of destination charging there, and there are massive benefits in having destination charging at hotels and places like that, aren't there?
No, I completely look. There is a need for both. There's a need for a mixture of all speeds of charging, but we mentioned it briefly as well before we joined the podcast that so we manufacture all our commercial units down in Redditch, which is just south of Birmingham. But there's a local pub in the back end of nowhere that isn't on any major roads. It's not on any highway networks, but they've got 250 kilowatt DC units. It doesn't help anyone. It doesn't help local residents that haven't got access to a driveway because once they've stopped for half an hour, they're going to have to move the vehicle again.
Yeah.
But there's also the cost implications on top of this. To install 150 kilowatt units is a fairly big expense compared to installing 10, 15, 22 kilowatt charge points. And think of it as you may, if you've got 22 sockets that are smaller, slower, people are going to stay for longer at your business, your facility. Whereas with the 150 kilowatt DC, you need to move within after 30 minutes, 40 minutes, whatever it takes to fill your car up, because a lot of the charge point operators or charging management systems have an overstay fee. And the longer you stay, this ramps up quite quick.
Like I said, for me in Glastonbury, I had to kind of pay for the parking, and I just thought, I know it's going to happen. My food will take longer in the pub. Once you get to 80%, obviously it's kind of more trickle charging in. But I didn't want to have, so I downloaded the parking app. I was using Octopus Electroverse, which actually that was really good, I've got to say, because and I've not got it connected to our energy tariff, although we're on the Octopus Electroverse at home.
Yeah.
But I got, because it was after 7 p.m, I got it for like a 20% discount, so that was like Brucey bonus to me while I'm sat eating my dinner. But so that I really appreciated that, and actually the seamless ability to be able to charge using the Electroverse. And I had the card because actually, do you know what? I've got to say, and I don't know whether it's just me being a bit thick, but there were two chargers, and on the app it was kind of there was a list of all the chargers, but I couldn't see the serial numbers on the units.
Yeah.
And if there's not a physical, like, this is serial number blah blah blah, it's
Yeah.
quite hard to suss out, is it that one or is it that one, which way they're giving the numbers. And like I say, there are only two units there, but so I ended up using my Electroverse card, because I was like, oh, I just can't be bothered to work this out. I'll end up charging on the wrong, I'll set up a charge and it'll be on the wrong one, knowing me. So I literally used the card, but it worked and it was really quick. And,
Yeah.
But like I say, it would have been nice because I had to watch the parking to make
Yeah,
sure that I didn't go over my
put your
parking
mind on two or
charges.
three different things.
Yeah, so it's like patting your head and rubbing your stomach at the same time, isn't it? But that in itself was kind of like a little bit challenging. But again, if there'd have been destination charging in there, some 7 or 22 kilowatts, and I know that maybe I might have only still managed to get, I can't remember how many kilowatts I can get through our EV. I wouldn't have probably got the 22 because of the inverter. But, I've just surprised myself with how much I've learnt in the last over 2.5 years about this
Oh,
stuff.
you know more than me.
But actually, and I learnt that bit on the destination side from a friend of mine, Marv Samuels, who I know listens. So thanks, Marv. You really, really helped me. But like I say, let's talk again about your thoughts on the importance of destination charging, and where are your installer network, where are they predominantly installing? I know we've talked hotels,
Yeah.
but you've kind of got a number of different places, haven't you, that you're charging, the posts especially are kind of being installed in.
Yeah, so anywhere really where an individual visitor customer is going to be parked for 1, 2, 3, 4 hours. So for me, I've started playing a little bit of golf this year. I spend 4, 5, 6 hours on a golf course, maybe on a weekend. That is a perfect time to charge. Drive to the golf course, plug in. By the time I finish, my car's pretty much fully charged again. But at workplaces, there's been a huge uptake now on workplaces installing EV infrastructure for staff, visitors, customers, because there's a lot of government grants available for them as well. But it's an added revenue stream. And especially, we mentioned it briefly before the podcast, if you've got a full roof of solar and you're producing excess solar than what you actually need, you could transition that solar to charge the vehicles that are there. So you've got ultimately 100% cost saving instead of selling it back to the grid, because I don't know what you get now for selling solar back to the grid, but I can't imagine it's great.
Well, for home charging, it's probably different. For us, I think we get more to sell it back for us as consumers than we do the overnight tariff. But we've got a battery storage as well. So my husband loves using the app for exporting, and he gets a bit excited, like, we've just made 10 pence. That
Yeah,
kind of thing.
it makes sense.
If you're gonna, what's that phrase? Look after the pennies and the pounds will look after themselves, or something,
Exactly.
and it is that, isn't it? Especially when we're talking about, and I know we're talking about workplace charging, but as a consumer, from our point of view, the cost of living increase it makes things a little bit challenging, not just, for lots of people. So any money that you can save, no matter where it is a good thing, isn't it?
No, I
But
completely agree.
but like you're saying, actually making money as a business, because I think you're right, probably for business export, going back to the grid, I don't know, but I can't see there would be
Yeah, I can't imagine it's great.
massive.
We've got our factory in Redditch. We've probably got about 400 plus solar panels on the roof. And the manufacturing facility, we haven't got many heavy machines running. So all our units, they're manufactured from recycled aluminium.
Yeah.
But it's local people, local products with full circularity in mind. So it's a lovely story with sustainability kind of at the real heart of it. But because of that, we haven't got many big machines in our manufacturing facility. So we're producing so much more than what we need. but then any staff, visitors, customers that are coming to visit the factory, working at the factory, charge up during the day. It's all green energy. There's no need for pulling extra power from the grid.
I love that. I love the fact I didn't know that story. I think that's really, really good. So if you're actually able to do that, and I didn't know about the whole circularity with the aluminium
Yeah.
pulse and the recycling. So have you been doing that since you started manufacturing them over in the UK then?
Yeah, so well, Ratio, we've still got a manufacturing facility over in Nijkerk in the Netherlands, which is where we're based. Over there, we manufacture our wall-mounted units, so that's our IO5 and IO6, and we got purchased by the FW Thorp Group about three and a half years ago, and that's where we started the design and the manufacturing of the twin pillars, the IO7, the IO8. But yeah, it was designed to achieve, let's say, a long lifetime, but it was always there with that circularity in mind. We wanted to design it using recycled materials to kind of reduce the number of components, but also make sure the units could be repairable in the field without the need to replace the full unit, if that makes sense.
Right, I get you. That is so good. You've just ticked a load of my boxes there, just with what you've said. The whole recycling and kind of getting the local people working there, and just so how many people work for Ratio in the UK versus kind of like in the Netherlands then?
We're probably about a 50-50 split. We've probably got about 20 to 30 in the UK, and that's including our manufacturing facility over here. Probably in the Netherlands, maybe 30 to 40. So
Right.
it's a little bit similar on both sides of it, yeah.
No, that's cool. And you've got to tell me as well, what does a day in the life of you look like? You've got to tell me this bit.
Yeah, it's ever changing, I suppose, which is quite a lot, which is why I enjoy it. No day's the same. It's not mundane. I personally could not be sat behind a desk every day doing the same stuff day in day out, which is why sales interested me. You're talking to so many different people, interesting people. You build friends for life, really, that are all focused on similar things. You've got similar interests. A day in the life with me would be could be anything. It depends if I'm out on the road visiting installers, customers. Podcast is a first for me.
Uh, Hey, well,
Uh,
are you doing all right?
no, and yeah, and phone calls. It varies, and that's really why I enjoy it.
So, but you're working kind of with the installers and going to the kind of the locations where they're going in and things like that. Do you get kind of involved,
I
sort of
don't get
at
involved with,
location?
with the install per se,
Mm.
but what we've started doing, we've got a real push now on case studies. So once one of our installers or CPOs have installed the unit, they're happy with it, then yeah, I'll drive out, have a little look at the install, take some photos, get a bit of customer feedback, and then we'd run this back past our installers and CPOs and see if they're happy for us to publish it, because we're proud of all the work all our installers and CPOs have done. We're proud of our hardware, and we've mentioned it multiple times, but that trust and partnerships is really what we're focused on.
Yeah, definitely. And you were also talking about, before we started recording, about how you kind of work with regards to kind of like back office as well. So you've got your own CPMS system, haven't you? But I loved your words as well. I love when you said you're not precious. I love that. You are not precious in inverted commas in the way that actually you're open and happy for say like a charge point operator to use their preferred CPMS, their charge point
Yeah,
management system,
exactly that. Our units are full OCPP. They're ready to make the jump as well to the new OCPP 2.0 when the CSMS is ready to make the transition as well. So I can't remember how I phrased it, but all our units, we're software agnostic. So it's up to installers, charge point operators, customers, what back office they want to use. We've got our own, so we can offer the Ratio charge points with the Ratio for business back office if that's what an installer wants to do. A few installers we work with don't want to get involved with that side of it, and that's where we're happy to offer our expertise on that. But we're really good at making products that last and work, and you stick with what you're good at, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely. But you do also offer like the custom 24/7 customer support as well, so that's brilliant. In
It is,
itself.
yeah. So on all the units that have got, whether or not it's ratio for business or one of our charge point operators or installers, back offices, there'll be vinyl, there'll be stickers on the units to make it easy for customers to use. If there's something they're unsure of, there's always a 24-hour helpline there. Look, give them a call. They can talk you through how to start a charge if it's your first time. Because we were mentioning it before, weren't we? The first time I charged at a public charge point, I didn't have a clue what I was doing. I was looking dumbfounded at this massive thing with really heavy cables, and I didn't know what I was doing. But
Yeah.
I can't remember where it was. I can't remember what operator it was. But there was no instructions or guidelines on the unit. It was a passerby that ultimately talked me through it, because it wasn't the BYD, but the first vehicle I purchased, the dealership, they didn't help at all. They just kind of said, "Here's your keys. See you later."
Oh, this is. I said to you, I'm gonna get on my orange box now because that is one of my big things that you just don't get told this stuff. And I said to you before we start recording, didn't I? And I've written about this fairly recently, about a couple that I'd met, that my husband knew, and I might mention this on the last podcast. I'm not sure, but literally all they wanted was to go for a test drive. They didn't know whether they wanted a plug-in hybrid, or plug-in hybrid, or just a full electric. But they all they wanted, and I don't think I told you this bit, all they wanted to do was they wanted to be able to put a wheelchair in the back. That was their main thing that they wanted, and they didn't flipping get it. They didn't even get a test drive, and I've had issues myself with various different dealerships and places like that, which it can't be like selling a petrol or diesel car, can it? You don't
No,
just put a
exactly.
nozzle in and go pull the button and then that's it. It's not the same. But we're not being taught that. People aren't being taught that. And there are a lot of people who don't know what they don't know, so they wouldn't know to Google it in the first place. I'm sorry. If you've been an EV driver and you're listening, if you've been an EV driver for ages, I'm sorry, but we have to remember about what Ben's saying. And I had a very similar experience on mine, and I'd been running this podcast for a bit, but even then, it's still hard to understand that if you've got home charging, even that's a little bit of a minefield, isn't it? But actually, once you've got into it, it's just great. I just come in, do a little bit of a skip with my cable, and then and then plug in. But
Yeah, it's the easiest thing in the world
yeah,
once you've done it once,
yeah,
or once you've been told how to do something. It's not complex at all, but we're a special species. We do what we're good at, and we kind of stick to it. And I suppose that's why there's a little bit of a pushback from EV, because people don't like change. But even I mentioned it before, my old man's a mechanic. He didn't want anything to do with EVs. Nah, don't like them. No moving parts and all that. But he's a bit of a speed freak now, and I think his next vehicle is going to be an EV as well. And I never thought that had ever come out his mouth.
and you do see people moving over. I think at some point there are going to be, and I definitely said this on the last one. There are going to be more people that everybody know, and we'll get to that tipping point where there'll always be somebody that that's got an EV. But the main thing is we just need to make sure that everybody knows how to use charging. They need to know about regen. They need to know about the various different drive modes and what they do, and how and the fact that if you do put your foot down on an EV and you take it off really quickly, yes, you are going to keep getting motion sickness if you do that, because it's feather like, isn't it? It's different. My nephew, I've talked about this on and off a few times on here. My nephew drove, oh my goodness, I'm not going to say what it was, but anyway, his car was in for service. Somebody
Yeah.
gave him, the dealership gave him an EV. He didn't know how to drive it. He literally got motion sickness just because he was driving it like a petrol car.
You can get whiplash on that first time you put your foot down on an electric car because there's no traction. It's push and go.
Exactly. But also the stopping, if you've got strong regen,
Yeah.
then the stopping, if you kind of take your foot off when you come into a junction or something like that, if you take your foot off to go to the brake,
Yeah.
you're literally going. So I understand about Adam, my nephew, what was going on, but that wasn't up to him to be just reading up on it. He was only having it as a temporary car while his car was in for service. So we do need to get that education about the car and education about charging, because that's so important, isn't it? Really.
It's huge. It's a completely different sell for car dealerships selling a petrol or diesel vehicle to selling an EV. Like the features and all the gadgets and gizmos, let's call them, in EV vehicles are just above and beyond where petrol and diesel cars are. But it's just understanding how to use them or how to charge your vehicle that you don't necessarily think of that much when you're purchasing a car.
So my next question is then, I mean, obviously I know that you're working with the installer base and, various other places, but what are the common misconceptions that people are coming to you with when say like you've got a new installer network or whatever, or even customers, if you're going to look at a charging site, are there specific kind of things that people are going, oh well, I think it's blah, and you kind of go, where did that come from?
It's a lot of it. People think big is better. So for workplaces or wherever it may be, customers, let's say, they always think, oh, well, I need the fastest charger possible, and I want it because it's the best. It'll charge my cars quicker. But then your car's parked there overnight. Does it? Why does it need to be charged in half an hour? You could charge that car in 9, 10 hours and save yourself a lot of money, but it does exactly the same thing. It's fully charged for when you need it. Granted, there may be a few circumstances where you might need something bigger or better for a delivery vehicle or something that you need to recharge quickly. But that's where DC and AC units have been working in conjunction now more frequently. You go to workplaces, hotels, there's a mixture of both, and I think that's what we need to keep happening, especially at destinations. We've thrown the word around a few times because that's what makes the transition so much easier.
So how how do you go from that bigger is better conversation to kind of explaining to that potential customer, that person, whoever it is, who doesn't know about charging because maybe they don't drive an EV themselves,
Yeah.
but they recognise the need. How do you get them over that barrier, that hurdle?
It's just understanding why they want it or what they want, and that's where all of our installers and CPOs, they're proud of what they do and they want to install the right products for the right people. Look, our units might not always be the perfect unit for every perfect situation, and we're fine with that. But we need to just understand what people need to give them the right solution, because we're all striving towards the same goal here. We want the world to be a better place, a greener place.
Yeah.
So just that's, I think that pretty much answers it.
No, I get it. I get it. And I think that's a really good way to kind of look at these conversations that you're having, because it is trying to, we're all in it for the right reasons, aren't we? We're doing it because we want things to be better. But I was going to say, so we've talked about your installer network, but what we've not covered are kind of like the sort of, I know I mentioned about the customer support side, but so you've got warranty on the units, haven't you?
Yeah.
And if you're working with a charge point operator, they'll probably come out with, they'll organise like a maintenance plan or something like that. But you've got you've got kind of the warranty covers you sorting out any hardware issues,
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah,
it?
exactly that. So we offer full warranty on all our units, 3 to 5 years, depending on which unit you want to go for. But I might have touched on it a little bit before. So all the units have been designed so all the components can be interchanged. So for whatever reason, something within the unit doesn't last as long as it should. Well, we can easily replace that and easily rectify that. We fully design and manufacture everything in house, so we've got an abundance of parts. So it just means the lifetime of that unit is significantly longer than a lot of our competitors' units out there because of that reason. But yeah, we offer full warranty on the unit. So if it's anything hardware related, yeah, we're more than happy to fix and replace that if needed. But I think I mentioned it brief. Touch wood, it's been fairly smooth sailing so far.
That's good. But that kind of speaks for itself, speaks volumes, really, doesn't it? If that's what's it's not happening, as in, you're not getting returns,
Exactly, yeah.
which is
It's there.
brilliant.
Look, for installers or CPOs, they just want to fit and forget, let's say.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
for us, that's perfect. It's there if they need it, but the FW Thorp Group, we're built on a group of companies that are very, very good at manufacturing products. And we've kept that ethos with Ratio. We're good at manufacturing hardware, durability, long life, and that's kind of where we want to stick.
And you were also saying to me when before we started recording as well about how Ratio, if an installer decides to use your own back office system, Ratio for Business, we were talking about proactive maintenance and it giving them the opportunity for proactive maintenance. Was that right?
Yeah, so in the early days, it was a bit of a learning curve from us, but just being totally honest, we kind of left the connectivity bit down to our customers or our installers, let's say. And this was where we were having most of our calls. Look, the unit's not transmitting data, the back office isn't working. So we've gone down the route now of putting our own SIM cards in our units, and that gives us ability for proactive maintenance. So we can check on the units, make sure everything's working as it can. It's just there as an option if and when customers need it. So if one of our installers or CPOs, hi Ben, one of the charge points is offline, or can you have a quick look at it? We can log in and just give it a quick once over, say, yo, everything's working fine. It must have just been a bit of a dip from
Yeah.
the OCPP side of things, but no, it's been good and it's been taken on board from installers as well.
No, that's good. And you also use load balancing and dynamic charging, don't
Yeah,
you?
so we've got multiple options for that dynamic or static load balancing, and it's there mainly to protect the building supply. A lot of customers might want more charge points than the building could handle, but how often are every single one of them sockets going to be in use? So the dynamic load balancing tool will just split the power available across all the units, however many are plugged in, and that can take in consideration solar as well. So we mentioned it. If you've got excess solar, you can use that to charge your vehicle, and yeah, it just protects that building supply.
And that, yeah, that makes a difference. If right, okay, just let me ask you this then. So, if somebody was expecting a full charge by the end of their working day, for example,
hmm
if it was workplace charging, and all of the charge points, say like there's 6 chargers or whatever, and all of the charge points were occupied, and you had to load balance them, is there some way of actually, because obviously that will reduce, I mean, I know that cars will come to like 100% or whatever percentage earlier than,
Yeah.
some will be earlier, some will be later, depending on when they all parked up. They're not going to all park up at the same time, are they? But is there, once say there's, so 6 cars there, then it's five, four, three, two, one, and then that one car that's left will get all of the, kind of, you won't need to balance it then. But all I was thinking was, is there a way to kind of let that person know who's got the least juice in, you'd call it, to say,
Exactly that. So yeah, there's ways through the back office or management systems that you could set like priority bays, let's say. So this charge point is going to take full power all the time. whereas these other ones will load balance whatever's left. But it's like you said, yeah, people are going to plug in, get to 100% more. So if someone's plugged in on 100%, that's no longer pulling any power. So that power available then can get
That'll,
spread amongst the other sockets.
yeah, okay. No, that's good. I like that. I like that kind of way, that intelligence behind the systems, because people don't, or within the systems, people don't realise. Like I said, it's that education piece, I
It
suppose.
is. It's understanding electric vehicles. It's understanding electric vehicle charging. My BYD Seal. If I plug into a 22 kilowatt charge point, my car can't take 22 kilowatts. I'll only get 11.
Yeah, yeah.
But if I was looking at that, not understanding it, I'd be like, well, the charge
Why is
point's
it?
not working. I'm not getting 22. It's like the charge point's got 22 kilowatts on offer. The reason you can't take it is because your car can't take it. There's only a few that can. And if a 22 kilowatt car plugged into a 22 kilowatt charge point, it would take the full whack.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
a lot of vehicles can't at the minute. They're getting better, but you've got that future proof as well. And that's another reason why big is not always better, because your car might not be able to take it.
No, exactly. And actually, I suppose again that is education of the drivers from right the point where you buy the car to say from the wherever you excuse me, from wherever you buy it from. It's kind of letting that person know that if you go to a 7 kilowatt, you're fine. If you go to a 11 or a 22, then this is what you're going to potentially be getting. If you
Yeah,
go to a rapid or an ultra rapid, this is the max that you can get.
yeah,
You know,
exactly.
just so that they know, because there's all of that misunderstanding and misinformation about what vehicles can actually take. So in some ways, the public charging network does get it in the neck for things that the drivers don't know,
No,
don't
it
they?
does. You see it all the time. Someone's plugged in a public network they're at 82%. That they're not going to get 200, 250 kilowatts of DC power. Firstly, because it's protecting the car's battery, but also they don't need it.
No, no, and it's the charging curve as well. So they need to kind of be educated on that what a charging curve is in the first place. I mean, we've got an air source heat pump at home, and I didn't really think about we've got a heat curve here.
Yeah.
You know, so there are just different things that we're finding out about through all of these different processes and different products and things that we're now working with. We just need to make sure people get to find out a little bit more about it. So, and I know what you're going to want answered in this, I suppose, because we kind of talked about it. But what is it that you love most about working in this sector? We've kind of talked a lot about various things, but if you could kind of say one thing, what is the kind of the best bit about it?
It's building partnerships and building relationships with people that are all driven against the same thing. We're helping the world or the UK move to a greener future. We're putting infrastructure in place to make electric vehicle driving easier for the masses. But the main point is, yeah, it's just that the friendships, the conversations you have with like-minded people along the way that really stick with you. I suppose all of us in the industry, we've kind of made friends for life.
Yeah, yeah. I think there's some really, really good people in this sector. There really is, you know, and just hearts of gold. So and it's nice to have that. It really is. So I'm coming to the final couple of questions. Okay,
Of course.
if you could fix one thing about the current rollout of EV charging, what would that be?
Whoa, that's
I didn't give you this in advance,
right.
did
You didn't
you?
give me that one before we started, did you? I suppose it's just upskilling and making sure people have got easy access to the knowledge surrounding EV infrastructure, so they know what they need before they go out and ask for something. Because a lot of the time, people think they want X, but really they want Y, and it's making them understand what's the best application or the best infrastructure for their specific needs. Whether or not that's, we briefly touched on it, didn't we? Whether or not that's council authorities, it's on-street charging, it's destination charging. There's multiple different options.
And final question then. Okay. What would your message be to an organisation who were thinking about putting in workplace charging, for example? What would your message be if they kind of like you kind of just said about education in a way? If they don't know what they don't know.
Exactly.
What would you suggest?
Reach out. Let's have a chat. Now's the perfect time to do it because there are a lot of government grants available to bring the actual cost of implementing this infrastructure down. You don't want to be in a position in a year from now where there's no grants available thinking, oh, nearly dropped a bad word there. Oh, I need it. I should have done it a year ago. We've got all the facilities and the support in place now. It's worth talking about and thinking about.
Good place to stop.
Thank you.
And it's been brilliant talking to you, and so lovely. All of the stuff that you're doing at Ratio is just, it's just great. Honestly, just keep doing what you're doing, because this is the kind of thinking that we need, and the kind of the open-mindedness and willingness to actually make a really good, to roll out really good destination charging. So just to say thank you very much for your time. It's been great.
No, Liz, I really appreciate it. Thank you.
How was your first podcast then? I can say that.
No, our first podcast was... No, I've really enjoyed it. And first of many, let's say, hopefully.
Absolutely. Yeah, not off. Yeah. So I will share all of your information and website details and stuff like that in the show notes. But just to say thanks to you, and to everybody else, I'm going to say thanks for watching and listening. Please do, and I've got a frog in my throat now from talking. Please do like, subscribe, share, all of that wonderful stuff. Check out our LinkedIn page for Electric Evolution, and just, share with your friends, family, Uncle Tom Cobley and all. But just to say thanks for watching and listening. I'll see you next time. Bye. Thanks for watching Electric Evolution with Liz Allan. If you've enjoyed this episode, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. If you're a charge point operator, local authority or stakeholder in EV charging, I'd love to talk to you about our Charge Point Evolution framework. It's designed to help you create a seamless EV driver journey, boost utilisation and maximise your return on investment. Alternatively, if you know someone who'd be a great podcast guest or might be interested in sponsoring an episode, you can email me on liz@fullcircleci.co.uk. Thanks again for watching.